All right, so I got another list here for you all today. This is going to be a top 10 compliment getting list. In my opinion, these 10 fragrances, these are pretty much guaranteed to garner you compliments as long as everything with you is together for the most part. So as long as you have, the right clothing on, as long as you seem approachable, as long as your hygiene is together, then I think that these are going to be the perfect fragrances if you're looking for, compliments to be given your way. All right, so just to start off the list here, I'm going to start this fragrance off with Alexandria Fragrance's Orchestra. All right, and this is their take on Louis Vuitton's Symphony. This to me it's so close to Symphony that it really doesn't make a lot of sense, in my opinion, for someone to go out and actually spend the $560+ on Louis Vuitton Symphony. This to me, when I smell, this side by side with Symphony, it's like 95% close for the most part. Obviously, both fragrances are extrait de parfum, so they are going to smell similar in terms of, how concentrated that they smell. They also are going to have, very similar performance as well. I do think that the Louis Vuitton is slightly better, in terms of the performance, but not really by much. Both fragrances, at least on my skin, are still going to give you over 10 to 12 plus hours. But if you're, a big fan of just really sort of, citrusy, fresh types of scents, this is definitely one to choose. It isn't necessarily though like your typical fresh scent. So in my opinion, it does still have like some depth and some body to it. So it's not one that you want to really go super crazy with the sprays on. I normally only go about 4 sprays with this fragrance, and that's normally more than enough to give me really good projection and longevity. So again, if you're a fan of the original fragrance from Louis Vuitton, Symphony, then I definitely recommend this fragrance if you're looking for that, scent profile on a budget. Again, this is Alexandria's Orchestra. All right, the next one is from the house of Versace, and this is Versace's Hawas Ice. So whether it be Hawas Ice or the original Hawas, I think either one of these, really could, be on this list. This is right now the only one that I currently own, but Hawas Ice to me it's like a very slight, adjustment or update on the original, Hawas scent profile. But this one, just like the original Hawas, is, an extreme compliment getter. This is easily, in my opinion, my most complimented scent profile within this whole list, between this fragrance and the original. So, if you're someone who's looking for compliments, this fragrance is absolutely going to garner you compliments because it is a very loudly projecting scent. And it does, give you very good longevity no matter what weather you're in. And that's the other thing about this fragrance, between either this one as well as the original Hawas, is both fragrances are fragrances that you can wear all year round. All right. So even though it comes off as like this really fresh, fruity, aquatic style type of scent, it is strong enough to where, you can absolutely wear this in the wintertime, you can wear it in the fall, you can wear it in the spring. I, for the most part, tend to only reach for, the Hawas scent profile in the summertime. To me, it comes off of my skin and smells differently in cooler weather, but it is still strong enough for you to wear it, at those times of the year. So definitely, man, check out Hawas Ice from Versace. All right, next one on the list is from Chanel, and this is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. I could easily put, the Eau de Parfum on this list as well, or, even include both. But for me, I think that Bleu de Chanel Parfum is the best smelling, Bleu de Chanel. Now, I do prefer wearing the EDP a little bit more because it projects a lot better than what the Parfum does. This is a very kind of intimate, close to your skin type of scent. But to me, this is definitely the most refined, the highest quality smelling, And you know, the most kind of rich version of that Bleu de Chanel, you know, scent profile. This is definitely going to be a little bit woodier, you know, than the other interpretations, and not as sort of citrus heavy. So you know, again, it all kind of depends on, you know, what your taste is. But I think, you know, in terms of compliments, this is definitely going to be probably the best one, because it's not as loud and in your face. And for a lot of people don't really like super loud fragrances, especially when they're not really into fragrances like that. So again, I would say that this is going to be the one that's going to give you the most compliments, even though it's not going to be as noticeable as what the EDP is. All right. So again, that's Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Next one on the list, this is from the Woods collection, and this is the Woods collection Dusk. This is their take on Parfums de Marly's Leighton. This is, in my opinion, it's going to be the best, you know, value, you know, in terms of like a Leighton interpretation. Obviously, you have the Amber Oud Exclusive Bleu. That one, I believe, is like only a 60 ml, and typically it's a little bit more than what this fragrance is, which is 100 ml. This one, I think the price is actually going down a little bit on Joma Shop for this one. I think now this one is down into like the 40s, like the $40-ish mark. Whereas the Amber Oud Exclusive Bleu, that one I think typically goes for like 60 plus. And again, that's only for 60 ml. From what I understand anyway, is the initial opening of the Amber Oud Exclusive Bleu, that one is a little bit closer to the original Leighton than what this is. This doesn't really have that kind of like mentholated sort of opening that you get with the original. But where this one really shines is in the dry down. You know, when the vanilla starts to come out, and you know, you just get like this really, really smooth, you know, vanilla, cardamom, kind of almost gives you kind of like a apple sort of feel as well within the fragrance. Just overall, a really, really good interpretation of Leighton. So good, in fact, that I had the original bottle, and once I got this one, I felt like this one was close enough to the original to where I didn't really need the original, and I sold it. All right. So again, this one is the Woods collection Dusk. Next one on the list, this is also another Parfums de Marly interpretation. This is from French Avenue, and this is Liquid Brun. And this is another one of those compliment getters, man. This is going to be like a really sort of fresh vanilla scent, really fresh, aromatic, spicy, slightly floral from the orange blossom. So I think that this is a fragrance that will kind of appeal to men and women, even though it's, you know, more so marketed towards men. This is definitely a fragrance that I think men and women will absolutely appreciate, which, you know, at that point it drives the compliment factor up even more. All right. This is also, it's going to be almost identical to the original fragrance, just for a fraction of the cost. So I absolutely recommend this, and the performance on it is very good as well. Again, this is French Avenue's Liquid Brun. Another one from French Avenue, this is their take on by Kilian's Angel Share. This is a royal blend. As I've mentioned numerous times, this to me is the best Angel Share interpretation that I've smelled so far from any, you know, sort of fragrance, you know, house that I've smelled. Definitely better than Alexandria's Brooklyn Fragrance Lover, better than what are the other ones that I've smelled? You know, Paris Corners, Fire Your Desire. You know, I'm sure I've smelled some other ones. I know I've got another one from Dumont, which is more, it's not really, I think, trying to actually be Angel Share. Is definitely more of a twist. But in my opinion, this is definitely better than that one as well. This, to me, it comes almost, you know, almost like 1-to-1 territory with Angel Share, and the performance is actually slightly better in terms of like the longevity goes. So Again, I absolutely recommend this for anyone who's looking for a cheap alternative to Angel Share. You can find this typically for like $29.99. So for that price and the quality that you get with this one, I think that's hard to beat. Again, this is Royal Blend from Fragrance World. Next one on the list, this is going to be a interpretation of Absolute Aventus from Creed, and this is Club de Nuit Precious, or Precieux. I'm not sure how you actually pronounce it, but this is another really good interpretation of that scent profile. It has a slight twist to it, you know, when you first spray it on. This one opens up with like a fruity pineapple that, you know, Absolute Aventus does not open up with. So it almost kind of comes off as sort of like a mix or blend of like the original Aventus and Absolute Aventus. But actually, I do really like that within this fragrance. Now, as the fragrance starts to dry down, it does become a lot closer to like the original scent profile for sure. And the other thing with this fragrance is it is definitely stronger than Absolute Aventus. So this is an Extrait de Parfum concentration, and I believe Absolute Aventus is an Eau de Parfum concentration. So this will be stronger. It is going to give you better longevity and projection as well. The only downside to this fragrance is it does typically go for, you know, higher than what a lot of other, you know, Middle Eastern interpretations go for, and it's only a 55 ml bottle. So I believe normally this one kind of goes for like around that $60 to $70 mark for a 55 ml bottle, which, you know, when you kind of factor in what most 100 ml bottles cost from most Middle Eastern fragrance houses, that is, you know, on the higher end, you know, when it comes to price. But I do think that this fragrance is absolutely worth it. Like I said, it comes extremely close to Absolute Aventus for, you know, a fraction of the cost, obviously, with a slight sort of twist on it that I do welcome. All right. So again, this is Armav's Club de Nuit Precious. Next one on the list, this one is going to be hands down the most expensive fragrance on this list. So for most people are probably going to go for like an interpretation or an inspiration of this fragrance. But in my opinion, the original just can't be beat. So again, this is going to be Louis Vuitton's Imagination. All right. This right now, in my opinion, is the best, you know, sort of fresh scent that's out there, in my opinion. I can't really think of any other, you know, fresh, you know, sort of summer and springtime scent that's better than what this is. Now, there are some fragrances that, you know, in my opinion, they do kind of come close, you know, and they're also from Louis Vuitton. So I am definitely starting to warm up a little bit more to like Louis Vuitton's Meteore. That's another fragrance that I do plan to, you know, get at some point in time. And also Pacific Chill is pretty good as well. But at least from my taste, I do think that this is the best fragrance that I've smelled, at least from Louis Vuitton. And it is definitely one of the best, you know, fresh scents that you can get out there. Really nice blend of, you know, like tart citruses, really smooth tea. You get some spices in there like ginger and cinnamon. Just a really kind of soft neroli within this fragrance as well. And, you know, kind of like a slightly sort of woody sort of smelling base, in my opinion. This just, in my opinion, it has everything that you would want in a fresh scent. And the longevity on it is also pretty good as well. So if you can afford to pick this one up, this one is $320 for the 100 ml bottle. And then I believe like $450 or so for the 200 ml. The 200 ml is definitely the better deal, but, you know, obviously you have to shell out over $400 for it. But yeah, man, definitely this is the best fresh scent in my opinion. Again, that's Louis Vuitton Imagination. All right, next one on the list. This is from the house of Al Watania, and this is Al Watania's Kayaan Classic. So this is going to be their take on Dior Homme Intense. This is extremely close to Dior Homme Intense. As a matter of fact, it's actually a little bit stronger, you know, in terms of the projection when compared to Dior Homme Intense. And Dior Homme Intense is already like, you know, really sort of renowned, you know, date night type of scent. So obviously, you know, the compliment factor is going to be super high there. This is going to be a fragrance, in my opinion, that, you know, unlike a lot of these other fragrances on the list, I do think that you really need to be on top of your game in terms of what you're wearing. That will definitely kind of determine whether or not you get complimented wearing this fragrance. I don't necessarily look at this fragrance as being, you know, a fragrance that you would wear with, like, I don't know, basketball shorts and like a t-shirt or something like that. This is definitely going to be a more sort of, you know, dressed up sort of scent, or, you know, something that you would wear to more of sort of like an upscale event. But I think, you know, as long as everything is together with your wardrobe, your hygiene, your personality, then I think that this is definitely going to be one of those fragrances that will garner compliments for sure. And again, this is going to be Kayaan Classic from Awatania. All right, and then the last one on the list, man, this one is, I think this is one of the more sort of versatile scents and more sort of mass appealing scents on this list. This is going to be from the house of Joe Milano, and this is Game of Spades Wildcard. So Game of Spades Wildcard, this is, it's kind of like this sort of apple, vanilla, slightly sort of, you know, aromatic and spicy type of scent. In my opinion, it is something that you can wear for the most part kind of all year round. I would say if you're going to wear it in the summer, I would probably more so reach for this on summer nights, in, you know, more kind of like moderate climates or so. But I do think that this is something that you can wear all year round, or you could signature scent this one for sure. And this is definitely, it's going to give you compliments for sure. I don't really see anyone disliking this one unless you were to just get obnoxious with this fragrance and just completely overspray it. But I do think that it is, you know, fresh enough to be worn, you know, again, in the warmer months, you know, definitely more so towards the night. But it does have enough sort of denseness and thickness to it to where, you know, you could also wear this one in the fall, the winter, you know, the early spring, and still, you know, have it push out enough to where, you know, other people could smell it as well. But this is going to be, you know, very close to Lafayette Street from Bond Number 9. I mean, damn near identical for the most part. So if you're looking for, you know, a really sort of cheap alternative to Bond Number 9's Lafayette Street that actually gives you better performance, you know, in terms of longevity, then I would absolutely recommend Game of Spades Wildcard from Joe Milano. All right, so that is the list, man. That is my list of top 10 compliment getting fragrances that I have within my collection. You know, I probably wanted to make this, you know, list at least 15 to 20, but I didn't really want the video to be too long, so I just kind of kept it to 10. Let me know what you all think about this list in the comments. Do you all own any or all of these fragrances? And if so, do you like these fragrances? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Let me know in the comments. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see you on the next video.